We're back out here once again, and today we are at a very special hidden lake. And best of all, these are public waters that you can find on your own. If your fishery gets way too pressured, maybe it's time to look for your private little honey hole. Stick around, I'm going to tell you how I found this one and how you can find your very own. Got him. Ooh, that's a giant. Holy cow, that's a monster. Wow. Stay down. Oh my God, that is a huge. Oh my God, that thing is huge. What is it? It's not a bass. Is it a? It's a carp.
Oh wow.
No, that is a And here is this video's featured comment. Congratulations! If you would like to have a chance to have your comment featured in an upcoming video, all you've got to do is leave a comment. And now, on with the video. Welcome back to Lowbrow Fishing. And we've talked here recently and in the past about fishing heavily pressured waters. I've talked about the tips and tricks that I'm using that continue to help me have success each and every time I go out. But what happens when it just becomes too much? When it becomes too unbearable and there's just too many people out there? Well, it might be time to find your own private little honey hole, which is what this is right here. I used Google Earth and I scanned, and I used another tool called ONX, which allows me to see property lines. Plus, I inquired with my state forest rangers so they could tell me if that lake was actually public or not. And that's key. You don't want to be fishing somebody's personal property. That's probably not going to make them very happy, especially if you didn't ask first. So make sure you're checking to see if it's actually public land. This here is actually part of a wildlife management area, so it is very much public land. You got to have a special card, but it's free to get that, and you just register online. So that's no problem. So, like I said, how did I find this? Well, I searched Google Earth, and I do that quite often. And if you have a major river in your area, a large river, in this case it's the Pascagoula River, the Pearl River also works, the Mississippi River works, these are just rivers in our area, you'll find what they call oxbow lakes. An oxbow lake is where that river used to flow, but it has since moved into another direction, leaving that little curl of water there. They're very distinct, and you can tell an oxbow lake just by looking at the map. Generally, there's a river nearby, but they also have that curled shape. They can be great fisheries, and 9 times out of 10, they are exceptionally isolated and out of the way. And if they're on public waters, they are a great place for you to try to catch some fish. Today, I loaded up the plastic boat, put it in the truck, and we tried several of them. This was the 5th lake down in the chain, and there's more in both directions, both north and south, all through here. But that road is kind of sketchy. You kind of have, it helps to have a truck. You're not getting through here with your little Prius. But if you're willing to brave a few things, you're willing to go out of your way, maybe traverse a little bit, you can really be rewarded with some nice public fisheries. This is actually a boat ramp. This is an actual boat ramp right here. So that's going to be your first clue that it's actually a fishery of some sort. Whether it's private or not, private lakes actually have some boat ramps. I fished a few private lakes that have boat ramps, but, with the boat ramp right there, at least you know that there's some access to that water and you can dip a boat in and start fishing. When I got here this morning, the wife and I started to fish the first one, and it was called, ironically, Big Lake, although it was not big at all. It was actually a bit smaller than the little lake that you've seen me fish, which is another lake that I fished that I found with Google Earth. The Hatchet Lake is a lake that I found with Google Earth. There's quite a few lakes that I fish, ones that you saw me fish last year, and there's several more that I'm going to be taking fishing trips to this summer that I used Google Earth to locate. And then once you find out if they're public land or private land, if it's public land, then all you need is a valid fishing license, and if it's private land, well, maybe you can ask somebody. You never know. It doesn't hurt to try, I don't guess. But we started out this morning, and we broke it down with the usual suspects. I started out with this guy, a jerkbait. And the first thing that I noticed was, well, there weren't any bass. I was not seeing bass. What I was seeing was a ton of chain pickerel. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of catching chain pickerel. If you've ever caught one, you know that they're slimy, you know that they're toothy, and you know that they are hard to handle, especially if they've got the hook really good. And another type of fish that we saw today, well, that was a big monster bowfin that I caught. Little tail spinner worm does. Dreamsicle tail spinner worm. And what I'm thinking is this water's not very oxygenated.
Yeah.
So they're having to come up to the surface to get air. Because of how calm it is and how little current there is, I don't think it's well oxygenated. Got him. Ooh, that's a giant. Holy cow, that's a monster. Wow. Stay down. Oh my God, that is a huge. Oh my God, that thing is huge. What is it? It's not a bass. Is it it's a carp.
Oh wow.
No, that is a bowfin.
Bowfin.
That is a bowfin. I can get you up by your hook, because this is going to be fun to get this damn thing off of here. That is a bowfin, honey.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye, buddy. So that bowfin was right at 5 pounds, and when it hit like a tank. That was a lot of fun to catch. Not what we were looking for. Kind of a pain to get out of the boat, because you don't want to put your hand in your mouth because they've got really sharp teeth. But it was a nice fish, and it put up a really good fight. As soon as I had it, I knew that I was onto something really big. But like I said, it was a rewarding experience. Will we be coming back to these lakes? More than likely. We didn't really get a chance to fish all of them. It was kind of a one-day expedition. We wanted to confirm that they were actually fishable, that we could actually get to them, and that we could get the little boat in there. So a lot of that was devoted to this day. So we kind of lake hop a little bit, going from lake to lake. And they're several miles apart. They're 2 and 3 miles apart. So it's not like we could walk. So we had to put them in the truck, load it up, unload the truck. But it was still well worth it. So if you ever have any questions at all, if you're looking for lakes that you want to fish, I encourage you, get on Google Earth and start scanning, start scouring. You will be surprised at all the little lakes and ponds that dot your area. And the best part is quite a few of them are actually public property, open to fishing. All you've got to do is check and make sure. You can see who owns it, whether it's public property or private property, or you can get in touch with your local wildlife management officials, your local game wardens, or whomever, and they'll let you know if you're able to fish there or not. Because like I said, you always want to make sure that you're doing it the right way, that you're doing it the legal way. And there you have it. This can set up your own private little honey hole. The best part is nobody else is going to be out here most of the time. If I do ever see anyone else out here, well, then I know pretty much the jig is up. But for right now, we have the place to ourselves all day. And there are several lakes through here. So even if this one starts to fill up, there's several more that we have to choose from. And it was great. Like I said, we didn't see any bass. We saw a lot of chain pickerel and we saw bowfin, but that's okay. We'll just come back another time. Now, fishing these was fishing stained water. They were very calm. The water was very stained because these being oxbow lakes, they're going to get very murky. So the order of the day was pretty much a spinner bait, a chatterbait, something of that nature. We tried a little topwater, but I only got one blow up on a topwater frog. but we did pretty good with the spinnerbait. We did things that were kind of slow, but yet flashy and noisy. Like I said, we're going to come back out here probably in a few weeks. We're going to spend all day. We're going to pick one lake in particular, and we're going to break it down from top to bottom. And that's going to be a lot of fun because, you know, you're not going to break all these lakes down that you visit in just a matter of an hour in a little bit of a trip. But there you go. Try that out. Go on Google Earth, look for some areas. You're going to be flabbergasted at the number of little fisheries that you have in your area you didn't even know about. So give that a check, and I'm telling you, it's going to be a great way to alleviate a lot of the pressure that you find whenever you're out fishing. So there you have it. My plan for handling when those lakes get too pressured. I'm always checking Google Earth and looking for another little honey hole that I can try to fish. Give it a try. I'm sure you'll find something that you like. Thanks for watching Lowbrow Fishing. We'll catch you in the next one.